Welcome to This Explainer. Listen, today we are going to completely revolutionize how you view your daily productivity. If you've ever just sat there, staring blankly at your screen, wondering why your massive to-do list barely budged despite feeling exhausted, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to explore the hidden mechanics of human capacity and shift you from managing your time to managing your energy. It's an absolute game changer. So why does your 8-hour workday constantly feel like a failure? Let's be honest with ourselves for a second. Most of us end our days feeling this crushing sense of defeat, right? We map out these perfect, color-coded time blocks, assuming that if we just glue ourselves to a chair for 8 hours, we'll conquer the world. But then the inevitable 2 p.m. brain fog hits. If conquering the classic workday feels impossible to you, it's because the entire premise is fundamentally flawed.
You see, traditional time management operates on this massive, wildly incorrect assumption that all hours are created equal. But they're absolutely not. An hour of intensely focused work at 9 a.m. might produce a brilliant piece of writing or a flawless business strategy. But 3 scattered, exhausted hours at 9 p.m., they are never going to match that output. Literally never. We tend to treat time like it's a factory assembly line, but human beings just don't run on clockwork. Our capacity naturally fluctuates, and completely ignoring that fluctuation is exactly what's causing your burnout.
Okay, let's dive into this and start dismantling these scheduling fantasies. Section 1, the time management myth. 8. Just look at that big, imposing number. The mythical 8-hour workday. So many founders try to force this massive block of unyielding focus onto their lives, often stacking it right on top of existing day jobs, caregiving, or, just running a household. We try to cram this giant 8 into our schedules, treating ourselves like machines with an endless battery life.
I want to slow down here for a second because this is so important. When you try to work for 8 straight hours and fail, you are simply experiencing normal human limits. You are not experiencing a personal failure. We have this terrible habit of internalizing our exhaustion as laziness, but hitting your limits, that just means you're human. Planning for an 8-hour capacity that literally doesn't exist is just bad scheduling. It's not bad character.
Which brings us to Section 2, and our core paradigm shift, managing energy, not time.
Instead of looking at your calendar and asking when do I have free time, you actually need to start asking when is my energy best suited for this specific work. Let's look at deep work for a second. Things like writing strategy or core content. That demands your absolute highest quality attention. Compare that to administrative work, answering emails, updating spreadsheets. Admin is super forgiving. It tolerates lower energy beautifully. Honestly, matching the task to your actual energy type is one of the highest leverage shifts you can make as a new founder.
So what are we tracking? Section 3, the 4 energy types.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that energy isn't just a simple binary of awake or tired. We actually have 4 distinct types. Physical. Are you rested and nourished? Mental. Can you actually concentrate on complex tasks? Emotional. Do you have the bandwidth to handle feedback or rejection today? And creative. Do you have fresh new things to say? Think about it. If you wake up with high physical energy but absolutely zero creative energy, it's a fantastic day to crush admin tasks, but a terrible day to try and write a blog post. Uncovering these invisible patterns changes everything.
Let's move into the hard science that totally destroys the myth of static all-day focus. Section 4, the ultradian rhythm reality. We're stepping away from those toxic productivity hacks and looking at actual biology. Sleep researcher Nathaniel Kleitman discovered this amazing concept called ultradian rhythms. Basically, human attention naturally cycles in continuous waves of high and low alertness. You don't just slowly degrade from morning until bedtime, you are riding a biological roller coaster of peaks and valleys all day long.
And the magic number for that biological reality? It's 90. Roughly every 90 minutes, our alertness cycles through a complete wave. We hit a peak of high capacity, and then it's followed immediately by a trough where our brain desperately needs a break to recover and process. This biological rhythm creates a really sharp, sobering contrast to that mythical 8-hour fantasy block we talked about earlier.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how tiny our actual high-focus window is. Because of these 90-minute rhythms, that massive 8-hour fantasy bar completely dwarfs reality. Most people realistically only have about 2 to 4 small windows of genuinely high-quality focus per day. That's the whole shebang. If your business plan assumes an 8-hour capacity, you're planning for a capacity that simply doesn't exist. You're setting yourself up to fail before you've even finished your morning coffee.
Now let's broaden the lens a bit. Section 5, your capacity is seasonal. Energy doesn't just wave up and down by the hour. It fluctuates over the macro seasons of your whole life. If you're managing kids on a school break, dealing with a chronic condition week to week, navigating caregiving or grief, or even just dealing with seasonal light changes and menstrual cycles, these profoundly shape what you can actually get done. Building a rigid business plan around a single static capacity number ignores these realities completely, pretty much guaranteeing failure by month 2. But building in flexibility? That pays off massively by month 6.
So how do we put this into practice? Section 6, building your real container. So, the crucial point is this quote right here. It is far better to grieve a fantasy schedule in week 2 than to build a whole business around it and watch it collapse in week 14. I really want you to let that sink in. There is genuine grief in realizing your actual capacity is smaller than that superhero schedule you envisioned. Feel it, accept it, because accepting that truth right now is the only thing that will save you from total, catastrophic burnout later.
Let's move to and see how this builds into an actionable routine that actually works. Step 1, map your real patterns. For just 1 week, ignore your ideal schedule and simply track when you feel physically, mentally, emotionally, and creatively energized. Step 2, match your task types to that reality. Put the deep work in your high mental windows and save the spreadsheets for when you're dragging. Step 3, build a flexible business rhythm rooted in pure realism.
The whole goal of this isn't to just do less, and it certainly isn't to shrink your ambitions. No way. It's to build a container rooted in reality that is actually strong enough to hold those massive ambitions without breaking you in the process. So I'll leave you with this final provocative thought. Are you going to keep bailing at a schedule designed for a machine? Or are you ready to stop managing time, start managing your human energy, and finally unlock what you are truly capable of?